There was a guy called Tikky Tokky and a guy called Zherka who had a fight in the street. Zherka stream sniped the Tikky Tokky guy, came up to him in the middle of the street, in the middle of Miami Brickell of all places. He started smacking him and the HS guy completely threw him around. None of the people around them even tried to stop it. They actually just filmed the whole thing. The thing is N3on though went from being this kind of a little bit crazy 19-year-old kid, and the more streams that he got, the more viewers that he got, the more crazy he got. And then he started going outside, then he started faking getting mugged, then he started faking his death at one point apparently. And as it turns out, as was revealed by Sneeko when he came back from Mecca, he was talking about how there's a lot of people on Kick right now. They're actually botting views. So yeah, it was curious because he was talking about some of the big guys on the platform. He was talking about N3on, and he was saying that sometimes even 50% of their views are botted. On one level, it's like, okay, it might be a good business opportunity to do something like that so you can work with such and such. That proves that you're not the man. You're just pretending to be the man. And then when the deal happens, or when the situation happens where you have to actually be that person, you're going to fall because you're not actually that person. You're pretending.
But we take advantage for some of the things that hard-working people are doing for us every single day. Yeah, okay, cool. That content creator made you laugh, made your day better, gave you some inspiration, showed you something that you maybe not ever seen before. But who built the building that they're standing in? Who installed that AC that is blowing so they can film it comfortably? Who put that beautiful paint on the wall that you're loving, that you just, I love that color? Who built the furniture that's back there that you're falling in love with? Who helped build everything that's in that shot?
You know what time it is. We're back again with another podcast. Leonard, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing great. So on this episode of the Fuel for Growth podcast, guys, we're going to be touching on something that's happening in the social media space right now, which is the whole drama with the IRL streamers. Now, there has been a lot going on in the past sort of couple of weeks, and the reason we want to talk about this is because it is a solid display of what happens when people allow their emotions to run wild. They don't control themselves. They chase fame, they chase clout, and they don't have a good mental framework. All of these people have been showcasing that. And Leonard, I think obviously you might know a little bit, might not know as much as me, but I'm going to go into some details here, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, no, I know a smaller amount, but you've been up to date here with what's recently been going on and the craziness of it. So yeah, no, we're going to dive into those things, open up that discussion, talk about it. And man, I'm excited to touch on this topic.
Absolutely. So first off, let's start with this fight that happened in the street. Just recently, there was a guy called Tikky Tokky and a guy called Zherka who had a fight in the street. Now, I didn't really know these two guys that well. I'd seen Zherka a little bit on some podcasts, and I saw Tikky Tokky was shouted out by somebody else. And when I started looking into these two, I was like, okay, well, first off, one of them, which is Tikky Tokky, was a trader in the UK, and he started live streaming on Kick. And basically, he started hanging around with a bunch of the people who were popping, and now he's popping. Classic, basically gone from nothing to everything type of fame. The other guy, Zherka, has always been a wild cannon. He's always been saying crazy stuff on live streams, on Twitter, all this other stuff. He's always been like this crazy loose cannon. And just recently, we came across this situation where Zherka stream sniped the Tikky Tokky guy, came up to him in the middle of the street, in the middle of Miami Brickell of all places, a very well-off area, very well protected, security's all around and everything. Came up with a security guard to this Tikky Tokky guy, started a fight with him, ended up throwing a punch at him. So the guy responds in self-defense, this HS guy. I'm just going to start to call him HS because the full name's just annoying. But yeah, this HS guy responds in full. He starts smacking him, and the HS guy completely threw him around. And don't be wrong, he won the fight physically, but emotionally and mentally, nobody won in that situation because it's the middle of Miami Brickell. They were on a date in a cafe, live streaming, doing IRL streaming. Here comes Zherka, also IRL streaming. Zherka's security guard didn't even know what was going on. He was like, I don't understand. And none of the cameramen, none of the people around them even tried to stop it. They actually just filmed the whole thing. And HS, I'll give props to the guy, was shouting. He was saying, "Yo, get the camera out my face! Get the camera out my face!" Like he didn't, because, bro, this is a case. This guy's from the UK and he's fighting people in the streets of Miami Brickell, you know. And for the Zherka guy, he started the fight, and I understand there's all the self defense and stuff, but like it's a whole issue, really. And yeah, just crazy.
Bro, and it sets a dangerous narrative too. Is Zherka doing something like that? That like now when other people are actually out there, you know, streaming, doing whatever they do, like you said, they was on a little cafe, little type of date situation, right? So now it sets the precedent of people can come up to people and that's streaming and then provoke violence on them as well. You know, there's no different than the Chris Rock Will Smith situation. You don't go up there, put your hands on the dude because he made a joke. All right. So the same thing is like you can't set the precedent that you can go up to somebody while they're streaming, harass them, hassle them, and then assault them at the same time. It just shows the mental level of both parties. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always, you know, we always say no better way of handling it, not to use violence and physical, especially somebody in that situation like UK. You get into an altercation, you could be losing your green card status, you can be going back to country. There's a lot more at jeopardy than just what we normally talk about that's at jeopardy, right? So, but at the end of the day, you do got to defend yourself if somebody comes in that crazy, especially if he's there with a female as well. So you got to protect that situation, protect that female, but you also got to know and have that sense to know that when it's time to be physical, when it's time to walk away, and I haven't seen it fully, so I'm gonna have to go check it out because I didn't even know Zherka got into a fight. Like I said, I've just seen him on a few podcasts, seen some of the crazy things. He's high strung, he's high wired. I didn't even know that, man.
Yeah, it was wild, man. It was absolutely wild, and obviously we're not going to play the clip because violence. We don't condone that on this podcast.
But there's no violations.
yeah, right. But yeah, I think to me it shows a clear indicator of how weak these people are mentally, and I'm going to go into some detail on that because I'm sure that might upset some of these people's fans. But understand, okay, if you're strong mentally as a person, even when you've somebody's thrown a punch at you, you would consider and go, yes, I'm not going to accept this kind of disrespect. Yes, I want to retaliate, but let me think about my situation first. I am in the streets of Miami Brickell. I'm not a citizen here. I don't have. He's probably on a travel visa, I would assume. Maybe he's on a work visa because obviously he's streaming and doing all that stuff. So maybe he's on a work visa, to be fair. But like, there is a lot, like you said, at stake there. Even if somebody hits you, sometimes the respectful thing to do is to say, stop, right? I'm not going to punch you back. I'm not going to do anything. Let's shut up for a second. Forget the clout. Forget all this other stuff. You've just thrown a punch at me for the sake of views, right? Let's stop. Cut it out, right? Let's cut right here. Put the cameras down. Everything. Like you would calmly. And again, I to be fair, I understand responding in kind because I'm sure in that situation I might have felt different. You know, if I was in that situation, I might have gone, you know, screw, like this guy's testing me, all this other stuff.
But you also got to think too. It's Zherka. Okay, it's not just anybody. You're not telling Zherka, okay, let's just talk about it right now. If Zherka's throwing a punch, you know that you got to defend yourself at this moment now because Zherka's not going to stop. He's going to keep escalating, and feeding that fire. So that's why I'm like, I'm with you. But there also has to be a point, like, I get fed up because if somebody does come and assault you and everything, you should have the right to defend yourself. There has to be some type of hit back. Some people, otherwise the people that just assault and keep doing shit. It's no different than like with females hitting men, like, well, men can't hit back. Then we start painting that narrative of, okay, well, if you can just walk up to assault nobody and they can't do nothing back, more and more people's gonna get assaulted. So we got to figure that out too in our system, in our society, of why somebody can come and assault you, you defend yourself, and you're still getting, legal trouble as well for it. Because he should be able to defend himself in that situation, but he could lose his green card status, which is crazy.
Absolutely. And I agree with that as well. And so my point is like, this is what I mean by weak mentally. I'm saying on the side of Zherka from throwing that first punch in the first place for views.
Going down there.
Yeah, exactly. Going down there and doing that for views. And the crazy thing is this whole thing started over an internet drama that essentially was started for views once again. Right? So they started an internet drama for views and then they let their emotions get involved with it. So
Yeah.
from what I'm aware, and you know, again, I kind of took some time to research into this stuff to figure it out. Zherka essentially called his mum some names when he was trying to have a discussion with him about the way he was acting or something like this. And so Zherka then called his mum a bunch of names because Zherka knew it would gain a reaction. That was basically what it was. And even HS admitted to that on another stream later on. He was like, I know why he's acting this way. I know why he does it. It's for views. I just don't like him because of it. And I was like, okay, so this guy understands why he's coming from that position, right? And so, but the thing is, then HS continued it. HS continued to push on him as well and constantly call him out. I want to fight you. I want to do this. I want to. And it's like he continued the drama because he knew, oh, well, it's going to get views as well. Like he may have not said that directly, but he knows. He knows if he continues the drama, it's going to get views back. And in the end, it ended up with them literally fighting in the street. And so I think like you say, it paints a terrible narrative for people as well. You know, for the viewers watching that stuff, the Zherka fan base and the HS fan base, it's like, oh, you like HS? Bang! Yeah, you know, it's like, oh, you like Zherka? Bang! It's
Yeah,
like,
and all those people that's watching Zherka's live is now thinking that that's okay to go do. Now, if they don't like somebody that's streaming, oh, let's go see what they're streaming. Let's go show up. Like that's not the narrative we need to have too. And like it, to your point, like it does show the mentality of both, because why are you going down there in the first place? You know that you went down there with ill intentions, that this dude's on stream, the dude's with the female, and you're gonna go down there and cause chaos. That's not a stable mentality to have, and that's not a man thought process to have in that situation. Let me go do some stuff on camera and put a female in danger just for some clicks. That don't make no type of fucking sense to me whatsoever. And Zherka does cross the line on a lot of things, and I think that's one where he crossed too. It's like, so what? All right, you said some things to get a reaction out of him. You got a reaction out of him. Why are you gonna keep pushing this and antagonizing? For what reason? What was the reason for you to go down there while he's on live,
yeah,
other than an emotional reaction to some shit that he probably said on a keyboard across the screen somewhere? And for dude also, is like, if you knew that Zherka's trying to get underneath your skin and say things about your mom, then don't give him that benefit. Control your emotions. Don't even fight back, because you're right. He probably tried to be like, let's see how far I can play with this. Let me see how much I can say I don't want this, but how much I can feed into it for clicks myself. But then he didn't realize you feeding into it is just going to make it escalate even further. You should have just left it alone, said what you said. Hey, I didn't like what he says. He's doing this for clicks. He's not getting that attention from me, and moved on. But you tried to dabble in it and keep entertaining it, and all that did was help escalate it to the point it came to right now.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, you just said it perfectly, bro. Like it basically two people just got their emotions involved, and from that moment they should have said, okay, let me like squash this, let me not play into it, let me control myself. And instead they went, no, I'm going to keep it going for clicks. And like in the back of their mind, maybe that's the whole thing, is like they were emotional about it, but they used the clicks and views as an excuse to keep it going. You know, so it's like it was just
like it justified it.
Yeah, like it justified it for them. And like I say, for me, it's just setting the example for the people watching them. Very bad example of how to act in social situations. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw, there was a clip a long time ago of two guys. Well, not wasn't that long ago, but these two guys were arguing in the street. Something to do with the cars and pulling out on each other or something. And at first they were a little bit like, whoa, like what are you doing? What are you doing? And then suddenly they're like, oh, actually, you know what? Like, no, like, let me give you a hug. And then like they end up being like really good friends after it. Because they both realize like, what's the point in this? Like this argument's pointless. Somebody's going to get hurt for no reason. So they both squashed it on that spot and gave each other a bear hug instead. And then we're now the really good friends. Yeah. So like that's the way you should handle it, you know. And as we said earlier, like sometimes yes, you have to defend yourself. But I think it was Yoko who said this, right? The big beefy SAS guy, Jocko Wilkins or something, I think it is. He even said it himself. He was like, if a big burly beefy guy comes at me and he's trying to start a fight with me, I'm gonna run. Because it's not worth my time. It's not worth me getting hurt. What if that guy trips me up, my head falls on the concrete, boom, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like you could crack your skull, anything. You just don't know. So these kinds of things are terrible examples. And I mean, the fight that they had as well, if someone wants to find the clip and go watch it, you can watch it. You can see they went out onto the road. They almost got hit by cars because of how like daft it was. And Over what, bro? Could you imagine? Imagine if that one of those cars actually hit them both. Both of them
Bro,
gone.
because
For what?
yeah, and can you sit there and try to explain this? What's this over? Like, how belittling does it have to feel at a man after your emotions calm down? You're sitting there and you're trying to deal with the repercussions of what you just did, and you have that talk as a man, like, all right, what was this all for? Like, settle down,
Hmm.
base of it. What provoked all this? What started all this? A fucking podcast where the dude said something about my mom, and I could have just walked away. Now all this led into the like,
Facts.
you start sitting there as a man. It's like, this was so fucking stupid. Why did I
Yeah.
let this get to, like, nobody put, like, okay, because Zherka did come put his hands, like, but like before all that, nobody's putting hands on me, nobody's threatening my safety, my security, nothing like that. So what? Somebody wants to say something. We got to have thick skin. Like, you can check him, like, hey, disrespect, whatever, then remove yourself, not associate. There's all different types of ways to handle that other than somebody says something I didn't like, so I put hands on them or I let things escalate. That's
Yeah.
just because, like, now, like you said, they could have got hit by a car, they could have caused a wreck in traffic. So many other things could have happened just from men not having control of their emotions, and one man being put in a situation where he's in a fucking tough pickle to have to figure out, I got to sit here defend myself on live stream in front of this female that I brought, protect her. I'm in a public place, my visa, criminality. Like, he put him in
Yeah.
such a tough situation to have a split
Dude.
decision to have to make to see what his
True.
future is about to lay on him.
Yeah, yeah. So that's the first thing that's been happening in this space. And I want to close that out with basically the point that I think, and for the people at home, I think that the audience purports this drama because to them it's GTA. It's not real life. To them it's GTA, and they'll scream at their streamer, "You should do this. You should go." And the streamer will do it because in their minds, "Oh, this is going to go viral. This is a viral clip right here." And they follow what the audience is telling them to do. So it's also part and parcel on the audience to stop watching it, to stop promoting the streamer to do such things, and realize that this is real life. This isn't GTA. These are real things that are happening in real streets, and people are going to get hurt if it continues going this way. It
Yeah,
really is.
Yeah, but that won't go. It ain't gonna be that way because
I know.
misery loves company. I mean, turn on the news. How many
Facts.
happy stories do you see on the news, and how many of them are drama, just shit to
Bro,
make you feel bad for somebody or worry?
I know. It's bad. But
It's
moving
so
on
bad.
to, and this kind of brings us right into the next thing of Misery Loves Company. So, streamer N3on, and a streamer Sneeko. Now, Sneeko is somebody who I think we probably both know, right? And
Yeah,
I'm not sure if you've heard of N3on before.
yeah. I've heard,
Yeah,
seen
a
some of his
little bit.
streams and the
Yeah,
incident he had before.
yeah, like some crazy kid. He had like a shouting match with Andrew Tate or something.
Hmm.
Had a thing with Aiden Ross, all this other stuff, and then he started IRL streaming with Sneeko, and their streams were popping, and suddenly N3on on Kick went from being nothing to everything on this platform. Like, he was the most popular, 100,000 views per stream, like crazy numbers. Yeah, crazy numbers. And then basically they went to LA, and Sneeko and N3on started doing degenerate stuff, things that Sneeko actually doesn't promote usually, things that he was being very hypocritical essentially, and blah blah blah. But I'm not one to judge. Whatever, okay, they're doing it for views, streams, whatever. And once again, kind of selling a little bit of themselves for the sake of clout. So it was like, okay, whatever. It's not my problem. But what got me concerned is they're both supposed to be Muslims, and they were doing things that were very haram, and not kind of Muslim like. But again, I'm not one to judge. At the end of the day, they do what they want to do. I'm not that guy who's like, oh, this is halal, this is halal. Like, whatever. Do what you're gonna do. The thing is N3on though went from being this kind of a little bit crazy 19-year-old kid, and the more streams that he got, the more viewers that he got, the more crazy he got. And then he started going outside. Then he started faking getting mugged. Then he started faking his death at one point, apparently. Um, he all this other stuff. And then he stayed in LA when Sneeko left. Sneeko went to go into Mecca, right? He actually went to go visit Mecca
Yeah,
and basically redeem his soul from the madness he'd been in. And beautiful journey. I watched quite a bit of that actually because it was very dear to me. And one of our good friends there, the Warner, was there as well.
yeah.
So love that guy. So that was a fantastic journey for Sneeko. However, N3on stayed in LA, and if you don't believe that evil exists in the world, this is proof that it does. This kid went from being this young 19-year-old Muslim to now he has basically taught on live stream. He said, "I'm no longer a Muslim. I'm a new man, holding alcohol in his hand. He's been smoking weed live. He's been drinking live when, he's 19 and in the US, it's technically not legal
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware. So,
Yeah. No, 21, bruh.
yeah. So he's been at these clubs. He's been basically hanging around with a bunch of online prostitutes and all this other stuff. And I was just like, man, this kid went from being a nice 19-year-old kid. Now he's been completely corrupted by this LA lifestyle. And this shows a couple of things that we've spoke about on here before. A, boundaries. This kid had no boundaries. Therefore, he was allowing people to disrespect him, allowing people to do things they shouldn't have done to him. But he was also massively misery loves company, number two. He was massively disrespectful to a bunch of other people. I saw this kid walk into a store, and because they said, "Oh, you can't film in here," which is fair enough. Like, it's a high-end store, luxury store. And the kid, as he's walking out, goes, "F you, your effing store's ruined now." And it's like just like going at this person. I'm like, bro, do you realize like these staff members get paid not that much? They're decent, but not that much. And they stand on their feet 8, 10, 12 hours a day. And you're going to come in and disrespect them when you're just running around with a camera screaming? Like what?
And it ain't even their rules. It's their boss's rules that they're having to implement.
Exactly. And I was just like, bro, like this kid has no idea. And people are supporting it. And people will go and follow this kid as well. And they'll leave like bad reviews on a business and a restaurant when he asks them to. Mind blowing. And like I said, now
it's because people love to see a new clown show up to the circus. Just when they think the circus is starting to die down, a new clown shows up and everybody revs him up. Keep doing it. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be like him or what he's doing, but keep doing it. It's so entertaining to watch. It's not going to lead good for you, but it's going to be great for us to watch. And I don't get that.
Yep, it's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And you know what's funny is he was in his like van, being transported around or whatever, and the entire crowd was surrounding this van because they knew he was in there. So this whole crazy mob starts surrounding this van, and he, in his eyes, it was like, "Oh, these are his fans." Nah, bro, these people were screaming "Neon's a bitch" on repeat, and they were pushing the van, stood on top of the van, stomping, jumping, like a literal crazy mob, bro. And I was just like, oh my god, like this is the degeneracy that is being promoted through like these kids' streams. And this is the stuff that's being promoted. Is like turn away from God, go drink, go be with online prostitutes, go like, bro. It was mind blowing to me, and that's another thing that's been happening in this space.
That's why we say a lot of times, like, look at somebody's life and see if that's truly the life you want to have. You live by the sword, you die by the sword for Neon. So if you won't go out there and be disrespectful for everybody and treat them like that, guess what's going to happen to you? Everybody's going to be disrespectful. Everybody's going to treat you like trash. That's just how it's going to be. So don't expect that, okay, or be surprised that, okay, you was in LA, people come up disrespecting you in person, especially in LA. They don't give no damn. You showed up out here to my city, I'll show you. They don't care. They're gonna come get on that van. They're gonna say what they're gonna say, and they're gonna prove that you ain't gonna do nothing. And you just put yourself in a double-edged sword too, because that's a lose-lose situation. Somebody comes up, disrespects you. What, are you just gonna take it? Or are you going to physically attack them? Because that's your only two options. You either take it and walk away, or you're going to attack them. Either way, they get to say all these things, disrespect you in person, then get to walk away, say they did it, or B, you assault them. Now they got a lawsuit and possibly a come up off of somebody for just talking shit. So like you're setting a precedence that's not going to put you in any type of good situation going forward in the future. Yeah.
And mentally as well, talking mentally, this kid's going to be massively depressed. If you notice in LA, there is a lot of people who have all this clout and all this fame and these OnlyFans chicks and these OnlyFans managers, streamers, everything. And you look at their eyes and look at the bags under their eyes. They're not bags of oh, I've been working hard. No. They're bags of, I'm depressed. My life sucks. I'm trying to escape, but I just can't because I'm addicted. I'm addicted to what? More than drugs, more than alcohol, more than any of these things. They're addicted to the clout. They're addicted to that fame. And that's why these kids like Neon are just losing themselves completely. Like I say, imagine being a Muslim your whole life and turning away from God and your religion and your culture because of fame and clout, and for fans who couldn't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? Like fans that, like you just said, will get a lawsuit against you, who will talk smack to your face. Like, bruv, madness, pure madness.
Yeah, I just don't understand having that type of mentality, because like you reap what you sow. So why go out and treat people that way and then expect that you can go out and demand respect and people's going to treat you that way in public? And like I don't get that narrative of just, and especially him. He is such a small, tiny, skinny little dude that ain't got no type of muscle on him. For him to be talking as reckless as he does, it baffles me. Just straight up baffles me that he says these things with confidence. But I guess it's because 9 times out of 10, it's either fake or he's behind a computer screen, so he doesn't really have no real danger present to him.
Yeah, and
But
that kind of brings up the other point. We mentioned this when on the stream with my dad. Kids his age back in the day were real men already, you know, and me and you, we have that mentality of like, we're tough on ourselves. We're obviously we're proud and we do those things, but we're also tough on ourselves. We think to ourselves, am I really being a man here by what I'm doing? Am I doing the right thing? All this kind of stuff. And this kid has never been taught that, and instead all he's being taught is this rhetoric of like, if you the more degenerate you are, the more fame and clout and money you're gonna get.
bro, and I was always told too, you want to see how true somebody is to their beliefs and their values, watch them once they get power. And so some people will start getting that power trip and they'll abandon all beliefs and all morals that they have just for a quick little power trip that they have. And that's like that, and that's what it kind of seems like this too. And another one was told to me is that be careful what you pray for and ask for God, because sometimes he'll give you that blessing just to show you that you're not capable of handling it.
Facts, bro. And I thought I said this. I did a little video on this when I started to look into actually how down this kid had gone. And when I should probably not even call him a kid, because he's not a kid. He's technically an adult now. He's a young adult. So
Yep.
yeah, I was watching this. You know, when I was looking into this young adult, I also made a video on my own channel because I was like, I've got to talk about this. And I said that what's going to happen to this kid is he's going to end up dead or severely depressed and addicted to things like drugs, etc.
Yeah, or stuck in the house too scared to leave or do anything.
Yeah, yeah, but he's gonna be in a really bad spot, and why? Because it's proof that he could not handle it, and he isn't handling it, and we've seen this so many times back in the days of when Hollywood and all this was like the whole craze. I mean, even to this day, obviously we know Hollywood is still a craze, but it's not the same way it was back then. Back then, there was young stars every other month, and that's essentially what we're seeing in this streaming space now. And just like in Hollywood, when these young stars started coming up, a ton of them essentially sold their, and sold out for the fame and everything, and ended up in a really bad spot. And most of them died. And they started the 21 Club or whatever it was, or 24 or 28, whatever the number was. I can't remember.
Yeah, 21 Club.
Yeah, it was a 21 Club, right? So yeah, like most of these won't make it past 21. And I just look at this kid and I'm like, bro, it's tough, man. But for real, like people stop liking this stuff. Go outside, touch grass. Like,
but it's kind of like what we talk about with women in this red pill space, right? Is that some of these content creators or some of these younger people, I won't even just say content creators, just younger people in general, because content creators are starting to get a bad name from some of these younger people and everybody trying it. And so these OF girls constantly calling themselves content creators. Stop it. You're not content creators. Stop it. Call it what y'all are. Okay. You're stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll censor that out. Don't worry.
It's facts, bro. It's
but I'm
facts,
tired of, bro. There's so many times girls like, oh, I'm content creator. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Me too. This, that. Then they're like, what type of content you do? And I'm like, all right, I already know what you're talking about now. No, I don't do that. I would, and I hate that they put that in a category, because now when you tell people sometimes too, it's like, oh, I'm a content creator. Like, what type of content you create? And I'm like, y'all already had a lane. You already had a name. Can y'all just stick it, stay to yours?
Yeah.
But no, it's those things that they think that just because they're getting some attention, that it's good attention, and not realizing that a lot of these people are just watching you because they love to see a train wreck. They're not actually support you or like you or believe in what you're doing and any of that. They're just waiting to see what day's going to blow up. Bro, there
Yep.
used to be the show of Bobby and Whitney here in the United States, and that shit was just drama. People wasn't watching, encouraging them. They was just watching just to see the circus every damn week.
Yeah.
Flavor
Yeah.
of Love was another one with Flavor Flav dating girls. People walked up, watched that show just to see the circus play out. So just because they're watching it
Yep.
doesn't mean they're supporting you, they're rooting for you, or they're cheering for you. Sometimes they're just there to see the circus act you're putting on.
Dude, it's true. And, you see this, you're right. There's multiple TV programs in the UK. Jeremy Kyle was one of them. This Love Island stuff, all that. It exists everywhere. But for me, the big thing is the IRL streaming isn't in a closed environment. It's in the public. And that's what scares me, is because essentially it's taking these crazy TV type of things where, crazy dramas happening and bringing it into the public eye and making people think that that's normal.
Yeah, now that's what I was about to say too. Do you think a lot of people like to watch it too because there's a little part inside of them that's like, at least my life ain't that bad. At least I'm not doing that. And then
Possibly.
that gives them a little bit of self relief and self comfort that they can kind of have an excuse for the behavior they're acting because at least I'm not acting like that.
Possibly, brother. Yeah, possibly. There's probably some people out there that watch it. Maybe even 10-15% of the people watching it are probably watching it just so they can go, man, this kid's so stupid. If I was in his position, I'd be like this and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah. But
So
like
it's
you
like
say,
some
misery
people
love
watch
company,
it for
right?
validation. Yeah, yeah. So it's like some people watch it for validation, some people watch it for entertainment, some people watching just to make fun of you. Like, what's this kid doing? I would never. What? So
Yeah,
it's actually figuring out who's actually watching and supporting you, or who's just waiting for the turmoil to come and be like, I knew it was gonna happen one day. Finally happened.
yeah. Yeah, so that's been an absolutely crazy thing with the IRL streaming space as well, brother. And again, for the people at home, understand like these people aren't happy, man. It's just no matter what this whole streaming scene looks like, they do everything for clips. They create dramas, and like I said, this Neon guy has faked multiple things. I think he just recently faked a robbery again as well, just to cause more people. Oh, what's happening with him? But it's crazy. He's done it because he started to fall off, and so it just does
Yes.
something crazier.
See, this shit wouldn't be bad that he's doing if if he was just being open and honest about it being bits, right? If he was just
Yeah,
being this hateful dude, it was a character and a bit, be one thing. But no, it's actually who you're trying to push and persuade as
yeah,
yourself. These are things that are happening, bits that you're created, but you're trying to fool and mislead the public to say these are real and really happened to me, rather than just say these are fucking bits. Enjoy the
yeah,
bit, enjoy the routine, whether it's comedy or dramatic, it's still a bit. Like, not every bit got to be comedy. So,
yeah.
but it's just the fact that he's out here doing it for clicks, trying to make people think that it's real, that it's nonsense. And I just don't understand it. And like, I'm with you. I don't understand why a lot
Yeah.
of people keep feeding into it. Know that what he's doing is fake. Who he is fake. He stands for nothing. He's ready to turn on anybody and everything that he stands for. It just for a power trip. And I just don't
Yeah.
I don't see how you can support that and be behind something like that.
Yeah, me either, brother. Me either. And again, it just comes back to the whole thing of like, it would be fine if it was in a closed environment, because again, it's a closed environment, right? So, like you're saying about the bits thing, like you could easily be like, oh, well, it's just a bit if it was in a closed environment because it's IRL. It's like it doesn't matter how much of a bit this guy even says it is. You're doing it in public. People are being physically affected by this who have no part of it because of the fact that you're inspiring people to be mobs, right? Like I said, the whole van situation. Could you imagine somebody who was just on his way to work, suddenly there's a whole mob surrounding his like car, which is parked in front of the van or something, right? Like his whole life is affected by this mob of people that was caused by you being a degenerate.
Bro, and I don't know if you saw, and I'm probably gonna butcher this dude's name, and I apologize. He's big, and I know his fan base will fucking eat me alive for mispronouncing
Go,
his
go, go.
shit. But Kaya Sinta or Kaya Sin, you know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
Kai Cenat.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
So you remember he went to New York and just made a tweet about, hey, a giveaway is happening. I think it was on like the big park up there. I can't think with the Grand Central Park or something. So that's Grand Central Station, but whatever the park is up there, I can't even think of it now. But he was like, hey, giveaway, scavenger hunt, go find it, this and that. It sparked so many people coming and doing things and mob and stealing stuff and breaking stuff that the police went and arrested Kaya and his whole crew and put him in jail over the weekend over for just saying, hey, there's a giveaway. Now, just imagine what's going to happen to you in a legal process if you're going there trying to start mobs and start people doing stuff like that. Kaya wasn't even trying to do that, and he got the whiplash of it and got in trouble for it. Imagine what's going to happen when you're going there trying to start it.
Yeah, yeah, and I didn't even know about that one. I hadn't even heard about that one yet. But there's another one, right? Like
Bro,
that's,
massive.
and it goes to show as well again the kind of fan base these people have for the way they act and things like that. You know, these people aren't inspiring people to be better. These people are just inspiring a bit more degeneracy every day, and whether they want to do that or not doesn't matter. That's what they're doing by what they stand for. When you stand for nothing, you oh geez, what's the quote? When
If
you
you
stand,
stand for nothing, you fall for anything.
that's the one, brother. If you stand for nothing, you fall for anything, and that's exactly what's happening with their fans, because their fans are like, oh, don't stand for anything. Why? Because they follow their favorite influencer. There's a whole reason we started calling them influencers instead of content creators. We started calling them influencers because they influence people's lives. So
Yeah. And with Kai, he wasn't even trying to do that. Like, he wasn't streaming,
yeah,
nothing. He just posted out something to do with his fan base. He's just not even realizing how much of a power he had. So then once people showed up, like we said before, people are opportunists. So his following showed up to have genuine heart of what they were doing. But then opportunist was like, hey, there's a lot of people. We can go steal some stuff. We can go break into some places and we can
yeah,
blend in with the crowd. And that's what started. And everybody's like, oh, his following's doing so. And it's like, nah, that was just a big thing that broke out. And people took opportunity. And that's why you got to understand why creating those situations are so bad. Because even if it ain't your following or your people doing it, there's going to be people that see that as an opportunity to come out and do bad things and then blend in with your crowd.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so yeah, so there's two situations that have happened already. And now we're coming into the third situation with the IRL streaming space, which is botting views. And so the reason I wanted to mention this was because essentially all these people are doing these things for clout and viewership and to get people hyped up. And as it turns out, as was revealed by Sneeko when he came back from Mecca, he was talking about how there's a lot of people on Kick right now because obviously Kick's a growing platform and they're trying to get more people involved in it from Twitch. They're actually botting views. So yeah, so and he didn't name drop anybody, but it was curious because he was talking about some of the big guys on the platform. He was talking about N3on. He was talking about these kinds of people, and then he talked about botting views, and he was saying that sometimes even 50% of their views are botted. That's how
Damn.
much these people want clout. They are botting a ton of views. Maybe it's because the platform is asking them to. Maybe it's because the platform is doing it for them. I don't know. But that's how badly they want clout and they want things to grow and how rapidly they want people to think. Because they basically it's mob mindset, bro. Again, they're essentially trying to get people who stand for nothing to fall for anything. So they see, oh wow, this person's already got this many viewers. I'm gonna tune into this one as well. This must be crazy, and it's like mentally it shows how weak and emotionally unstable these people are, that they will bot views just for the sake of clout.
Bro, that's crazy to me because that to me is no different than when a business fixes its book to make it look like it turned a bigger profit, right?
Yeah,
That's what the same thing is to me, and I'm like, why? You're because nine
right.
times out of 10, you're spending more for those bots than what you're going to get in on return of revenue anyway. Like, you're
Hmm.
never going to earn that money back. You're always going to pay more than what you're going to get in return. So what? For some numbers, you're not even making money, and then when you stop botting, you're not going to have those numbers anyway. So all that
Yeah,
revenue is going to leave anyway. So it's like, it makes no sense to do it. I've never paid for bots or paid for
mm,
plays or paid for followers or paid for any of that shit. I just
yeah,
don't understand why you would do that and how you would feel good at night knowing it's like, yeah, I got 1 million on this, but yeah, 500,000 of that shit was bot maybe, or 7,500 or 750,000.
yeah.
Like, what percentage? Like you saying half of that's bro, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. And so don't be wrong, I understand to some degree the whole bot situation because back when I was younger, I used to bot things because obviously it was like, I want to get things. But again, back then I was doing it because I was an emotional kid and I wanted to get views because it made me feel better, basically. And that's kind of my point is that most of these people are doing it to essentially feel better. I don't see the real advantage to it at all, other than to make people believe that you're bigger than you are, to make people more people hang around you, right? To create
Yeah.
more. Oh wow, like this guy's going to get in touch with me now, and it's like I like, again, on one level, it's like, okay, it might be a good business opportunity to do something like that, so you can work with such and such person because they believe such and such. But again, that proves that you're not the man. You're just pretending to be the man. And then when the deal happens, or when the situation happens where you have to actually be that person, you're gonna fall. Because you're not actually that person. You're pretending.
That's exactly what I was about to say. You build up those fake numbers to get in a position where, okay, now I can collab with these people, I can work with these brands, and I can do that. And they're going to expect a certain number. And now what are
Mm-hmm.
you going to do? You going to put it out organically, or you going to bot their shit up too so they can see it right then? Because you can look at analytics and know what's bots. You know
Yeah,
what's at your hand inside. You know what's a bot play, what's a bot click. You can tell. So
yeah,
what? Are you just going to sit there and let it bomb so they can know, or are you going to send bots so they can know? Like, but you're not going to succeed in that situation. Yeah, you might have got to work with that person, or you might have got to work with that brand, but after you got that foot in the door, you didn't screwed yourself because what they was expecting isn't the product that you delivered. And now they're like, yeah, no, that's not what we thought we was, and they're going to start detouring from it. So companies and brands and people that are collabing with you, when they see your numbers a certain way, they expect for you to be pulling in some of that clout on them. It's a business transaction, so they expect those
yeah,
numbers to run over to their stuff. So when it don't, your shit's going
yeah,
to start looking funky.
yeah. And truthfully, I just believe that most of them are doing it all for the sake of feeling better about themselves, which
Yeah.
is just crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, it kind of comes full circle with everything that we were saying earlier. Like I say, showing how kind of emotionally unstable these people are, and mentally weak they've become. And I personally think this IRL streaming space, if it doesn't mature up, it's going to collapse in on itself, because essentially things are just going to get too crazy. And I think to some degree the platforms, somebody's going to have to step in essentially, because if they don't, it could get out of hand, like big time. I mean, we saw what happened with just like the news, when the news used to post things about certain situations, and riots would start just because of a simple news story, right? And people wouldn't even do the research. You would question somebody, okay, so why are you out here doing this? Why did you just burn down that store? Oh, because this situation. Okay, but like, what about this situation made you burn down that store? Well, F you, and then they'd like walk off and like not answer the question, and ruin people's lives
Get
as well. Ruin people's lives
get
who
so
had nothing to do with it.
yes, get so furious when you push back on their topics because they didn't get so well educated into the topic. They just wanted to have something to leash out some of the stuff they have built up inside, and this is the opportunity I can release it. That they don't even stop to think that, like, okay, you're asking valuable questions that I should have asked myself before I start all this stuff, and it makes people feel bad because they realize, like, I didn't think this through. I didn't, and they
Mm,
have no rebuttal. They don't know how to articulate themselves, so they realize that they're caught in that trap, and then they run
yeah.
away because I ain't got an answer. I was using this.
Yep.
It's bruh, it's crazy that so many people will just follow blindly.
It is. It is. And the issue is, a lot of people are living vicariously through these streamers now as well. Instead of up in their own life, they're
Hmm.
living these other people's lives. And again, because it's a life of degeneracy and madness, that's basically how they're envisioning their own life now, is just degeneracy and madness. And so I feel like, not even I feel, I know there's going to be young guys out there who are going to be affected by all that sort of stuff, and they're going to be going down a bad path because of it. And I feel as though, I feel sorry for those young guys. I feel bad for them. I think I'm sat here, I'm like, I wish there were a way that we could pull them back on the right path and hopefully stop seeing all this type of degenerate stuff. And because I think we should be using these platforms to inspire, to create better things, to improve the next generation, because they are such a part of our lives now. And there's not even, this is the other thing I was going to mention as well, there's no real laws surrounding the internet yet. People think
No,
there
so
is,
no.
but there really isn't. There's like a couple cyber laws and things like this, but like not really much that's actually solid. There's no systems like we have for somebody who gets trialed, put in a court case, everything like that. That sort of stuff, other than basically, like I say, cyber warfare, like hacking and things, which is obviously a national issue. The rest of it, they don't care. And there should be laws. There should be. See, I like freedom. Don't be wrong, So I'm kind of saying this, but I'm in my head as I'm saying, I'm like,
There's
well,
always got to be some type of
y-
regulation, but
yes,
fair and shit that makes sense. Too much shit don't make sense no
yeah,
more to
yeah,
be the way they regulate shit, but there has to be, because unfortunately there's a lot of not so smart people out in this world
yeah,
that don't understand common sense and what shouldn't be done and should not be done. So it's like,
yeah.
it's not like now like we need rules, but it's like we got to regulate common sense now so everybody knows what the fuck common sense is.
Yeah, dude, common sense should be called rare sense now because it's rare. It's not common. It's crazy, honestly. But yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be some kind of at least a little bit of fair regulation, because we've kind of gone from basically talking about censorship is terrible, which I think it is, to then let's have no censorship at all. But then you're like, actually, no censorship is just as bad as full censorship. You've got to find that middle ground where it's like, okay, there are certain things that we just can't or shouldn't have circulating on the internet because of the way it can affect certain people. Or we should at least have education programs in place. This is the other way, have education programs in place that teach people how to handle the internet, how to handle comments, how to handle attention, how to handle all this episode, how to handle your kids with the internet. When to be honest with you, me personally, the way I view it is the easiest way to do it is say any kid under the age of 12, 13 years old shouldn't have access to it at all, period. Because it badly affects them. And then when they do get access, it should be heavily regulated from the age of 12 to 18 whilst they're learning about it. And then they can get full access and after their parents have been able to teach them and on all the education programs, if they were to ever do that, which they never would. But yeah.
Yeah, that's years down the line because nobody knows how to do it yet. But to
Yeah.
your point earlier, you were talking about like what do we got to do to make some of these young boys change and see the differences. I think we got to get to a point where we award and celebrate men for being men, and I'm not talking
Mm,
about like the masculine masculinity and stuff, but being men, being building up society, making society better, helping society run efficiently. A
yeah.
lot of people just sitting there doing this live stream role play character type stuff, content, even content creator stuff. I'm on it. Like not everybody needs to do that. We I come from blue collar. I come from carpentry and plumbing, military.
Hmm.
Build up society. You need to have this stuff to working in order and process. I'm glad I'm able to do a lot easier work, make more money. I'm thankful for that, but I'm also thankful for all those people that put in the hard work to make the society what it is and operate on
Yeah.
a daily basis. So it's like we got to start celebrating those people more. The blue collar workers, the carpenters, the plumbers,
Yeah.
the electricians, the garbage men, all these people that are actually going out here, the factory workers doing all this hard ass, gritty ass work. We need to celebrate them the same way we celebrate content creators when they like, I got 1 million views on a video. I learned a new hack today. We got to celebrate these people that's actually out here making
Yeah.
society operate and run and function the same way we celebrate these motherfuckers that don't put nothing towards society.
Yeah, dude, it's so true. You're right because the whole reason I got out of engineering is because I did feel like I wasn't celebrated at all. And celebration doesn't just come in society forms; it comes in wages and everything. Because when you're celebrated, you earn more money, right? Because more people give you attention, because more people are aware of you and the hard work that goes into what you do. And I agree. I think that ultimately we do need to celebrate the blue collar workers of the world. We need to celebrate the engineers and the people like that. And we need to say, hey, let's invest more money back into these industries. And let's, especially in the Western world, let's stop outsourcing it so much. Let's bring it back because at the end of the day, we need these kinds of people here, and you look at plumbers, residential painters, commercial painters, um, contractors of all kinds, really, and all this type of stuff. They're all a lot of them are basically either doing very well or struggling. There's no like in between. You can't kind of start your own thing and be like, oh well, I'm just going to start my own thing so I can support my family. No, you either have to be all in or not at all, and that's terrible because again, that shows how basically it's because they're not celebrated. If you are the best of the best, you will barely get recognized, and if you're not, nobody even knows who you are.
Bro, because that's what started me with the whole content creating thing. It's like, bro, I was plumbing, I was working hard, I was going through my apprenticeship, I was pulling 60, 70 hours a week. You know, we're out
Yeah,
in the freezing cold weather, the rain,
yeah,
whatever might be going on. We're
feel
still out
them
there digging
fingertips.
holes, crawling underneath houses, busting open pipes with freezing together. You slam your fingers between pipes, you're cussing
Bro.
everybody out in the world.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there and I was making less than bud tenders at a dispensary. People at a
Hmm.
dispensary that are just selling cannabis was making more than me as a plumber out in the world, busting my ass, breaking my back.
Yeah.
And it aggravated me every morning. And I'm like, I'm doing something that actually gets the society going and keeps it productive and keeps you healthy and safe and sanitary. And I can't even get paid as much as a legal drug dealer. Ain't this some bullshit?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true, bro. It's true. I like I say, I was an engineer for 6 years, and I was the exact same. Cold mornings, times where I used to ride a bike into work every single day for over a year. I rode my bike into work, and my hands would be freezing. It'd be wet. It'd be snowy. I'd fall off. I'd hit my head. It's like I just got to get back up and go to work. Like I didn't have a choice. Like if I didn't turn up, most of the time you just get cut, right?
Yeah.
Like there
And
was no
nobody
excuse.
celebrated. Yeah, and most of the time, no, or way more than most of the time,
Yeah,
but nobody celebrates you for that, right?
no,
Nobody's like,
nobody.
"Oh, well, you out there on the bike, you trying to get to work, good job for you." Most
Yeah,
people see that and be like, "Look at this bum on a bike, he can't even afford a car." They
yeah,
start putting people down rather than understand this motherfucker got some effort to at least try to get there to do what he's
yeah,
doing at any cost whatsoever, and you want to make fun of him because he's
yeah.
willing to go at any cost to do what he's trying to do.
Hmm.
Like that's the things we got to start celebrating more and praising men for doing things that are actually living society rather than to try to tear them down because somebody's walking to work or riding a bike to work.
Yeah, yeah.
There's motherfuckers that got cars and still won't get to work.
But and the proof of how bad it is in these streamers and things that we've spoken about today. The proof how bad it is right there, because all these people in these chats typing things, to them, the real world is that. The real world is this streamer world, essentially. It's not hard work, it's not hard graft. And anybody who acts a little bit weird or rides around on a bike or looks a little bit funny is a dodgy bloke, is a weirdo. Oh, look at this weirdo here. And you're right, it's not celebrated. Even co-workers in those places as well. The problem is that because nobody's celebrated, your co-workers aren't celebrated either. You turn up to work, they're not going to say, "Oh wow, good for you." They're just going to be like, "Now then, get to work then. All right, cool. See you around." That's it. Like there's no "Oh wow, oh you came on the bike today. Oh congrats, mate. Oh you did that today. Oh that's awesome." That nobody cares. No, nobody cares,
No.
bro.
And that's
Nobody
the shit
cares.
that like that's the shit that has to change. Like we're such a society now that is more focused on entertainment than security and productivity. So we'll sit here and every American household is a good example of this because we'll have our laptops, our gaming systems, our big screen TVs,
Yeah.
nice car in the garage or in the driveway, no alarm system.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So we want to
yeah.
be entertained. We'll pay that $500-600 for the TV. We'll pay that $300-400-500 for the gaming system. We'll pay them tens of thousands for the car. But how dare you ask me for $99 for home security a month? How dare you?
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
and that's the same way. We'll pay our athletes here more than we pay our military. Our average American soldier here in America, the average military soldier makes anywhere from $3 to $4 an hour. That's what the average soldier makes. So yeah, but you're out here got football players
What?
that are averaging hundreds of thousands of dollars a fucking game. How tell me this society doesn't
Bro,
put entertainment before security?
that's wild, man. That's what I never even knew that. And it's proof again, the Twitch streamers, bro, the content creators. And don't
Yeah.
be wrong. I want people at home to understand I do love creativity, and I want the world to be a place where everyone can just be creative, right? Where everyone can be that, well, like I say, just creative. Where everybody can
Hmm.
be creative. Everyone can kind of dance and have fun and all that type of stuff. I hate to break it to you, right? That kind of utopia can never exist. Never. And this was a brutal realization for me when I realized it years ago. And this was kind of what woke me up to the, I guess, the red pill space all those years ago. We didn't call it red pill back then, but
Yeah.
this what woke me to the truth. was that that kind of utopia is impossible because somebody always wants more. Somebody, it doesn't matter why they want more, but somebody always wants more. Somebody. And if it's one person that wants more, that will ultimately affect the people around them. And so those people will then want more, and so on and so forth. And so this kind of utopian society can never exist where everyone can get to be creative and all this other stuff. I think the world is shifting, and I think we've become very artistic and all this other stuff, but we're also seeing how bad society and the world can be because we're just allowing everyone to be themselves, be artistic. And it's like, look at what's happening to the world. That's the truth. It's the truth. Like idealistically, I would want it to be all this creative, fun-loving rainbow shit, but it can't be, bro. That's just not how the world works.
Yeah, I think where it messed up is like we've talked about this a couple of times, and I've said this a couple of times. Like people just doesn't use social media in the proper way, right? And I'll use TikTok as an example for this. The beautiful thing about TikTok when it was first starting to take off, when it finally hit its first billion monthly users on there, right? Was TikTok was finally a place where all that weird, quirky shit you did at home alone by yourself in the mirror that nobody else saw, that you thought only you did, you saw other people did that too. You weren't as weird and as quirky as you thought you was. Other people did the same shit that you did. So that was the beautiful thing. The negativity of it was like you said, so many people got happy with those endorphins and that chemical fix that they got in their mind of seeing people on the screen that's just like me. That's great. They forgot that the purpose was that it was supposed to show you that there's other people out here in the world that you can go out and meet that do think like you, that do act like you, that do feel like you. Not for you to isolate yourself and just look at it through a phone and it's like, I'm getting it through this way. It was supposed to inspire hope and belief back into you that, okay, there are people out here just like me, but not just on the internet. There's people in real life that are just like me. And it was supposed to spark more people going out, be social, have more friends, get that personal physical relationship like we talked about all the time. But instead people got so addicted on those endorphins that was hitting for them watching the screen that they didn't realize that it was showing them that there was hope in society out there, that there's other people out there just like you, and everybody just turned into
Yeah,
introverts.
bro, it's true. It kind of went both ways as well, though, which was that because people found out there was other people like them, they went deeper into the hole. They got to be more different. I got to be, oh, this person like me. I've got to be different. I've got to be different. I can't be the same. It's not allowed.
Yeah.
And yeah, that turned them into more of an introvert, and that's why we also end up in a situation where, you've got people doing crazy things just for the sake of views and clout, or just for the sake of attention or validation from people. And yeah, like I say, man, I think idealistically, we would just be this creative society where we all create videos and funny dances and blah blah blah, and everyone's just laughing all the time. But that ain't the way the world works. Somebody's got to clean out the shit.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to clean out the shit, man. And
Yeah.
I think until the day that we have robots doing all of that stuff, we just couldn't live that way. And even then, somebody's got to fix the robots. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to fix the robots, bro. Somebody's got to give them the maintenance. You know what I mean? Like, there's just, to me, I look and I'm like, bro, I don't think it's ever possible to have a completely idealistic society like what people want. I think if we're realistic, we can enjoy these niceties, these entertainments, these streamers, all this other stuff. We can enjoy all that stuff. But be aware and celebrate the people who work hard, not the people who entertain. And that's a brutal thing to say, but it's true.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, because
yeah,
those entertainers are sitting there helping you, sometimes come out of dark moments, entertain, like giving you those joys. So those are things that's more easy for you to, recognize. But we take advantage for some of the things that hardworking people are doing for us every single day. Yeah, okay, cool. That content creator made you laugh, made your day better, gave you some inspiration, showed you something that you maybe not ever seen before. But who built the building that they're standing in? Who installed that AC that is blowing so they can film it comfortably? Who put that beautiful paint on the wall that you're loving, that I love that color? Who built the furniture that's back there that you're falling in love with? Who helped build everything that's in that shot and put it together? Who helped make those cameras and the lighting and everything that goes into that. Like, you got to sit there and realize that there's somebody in a factory putting all that shit together. There's somebody out there missing holidays with their family because they're working to get this beam, this structure put together, this skyscraper, this house. There's time that people are actually losing from their family just to keep society going, and we constantly keep paying attention to the people that are just entertaining us and give us a quick endorphin, rather than the people that are busting their ass every day to make sure our every day is easy for us.
Yeah. Yep. It's very true, bro. And you said it perfectly. It's because of kind of the emotional side of things, because somebody makes you feel better. You think, oh, wow, they're a great person. It's like, bro, if you don't even know them, you've just seen a video of them. Like, you don't truly know them. And it's funny for us to say all this because obviously we're content creators. That's kind of what we do, right? is we try to help people out, and we try to speak to people through cameras. And yet we're here telling you, like, yes, like we do genuinely care for you, but at the end of the day, just use this as fuel to think for yourself, not as, you use this like Leonard was saying, to inspire you, to get your kind of juices flowing, whatever, and then go away and actually do important things and respect people and live a life where you are respectful, kind, caring, loving, and you have dignity, right? And take care of the people around you and things like this. Man, yeah, we basically, it all stems from these crazy streamers and everything, man. Because I know some of these guys work hard. Don't be wrong, I know some of these guys work hard. All right, I look at them, I'm like fully aware of the effort it takes to put into content. We're not saying that some of these people don't work hard, but we're saying blue collar workers work harder. It's as simple as that. They do. There's just no doubt.
Yeah, bro, absolutely. That's just the thing. Just start taking notice of the everyday people, the everyday foot soldiers that are busting their ass, breaking their back, missing time with their family, just so your everyday life can stay the same, and we take it for granted. Take a moment to realize how much work and effort actually gets put in there, because I promise you, somebody came up to you and kind of like what we do in the red pill in this red pill community, right? There's a pill. It's like, hey, you can take this one. You can't. You got to entertain yourself for the rest of your life. But all infrastructure, all that stuff still happening. People will still be there to do that. Or you take this one, you're gonna get all the entertainers to stay, but you got to build all the infrastructure. You got to do your house, your plumbing, your electricity, your fixing your cars. You got to do all that. Everybody's gonna say get rid of the entertainers. As soon as shit gets real, shit gets hit in the fan. Nah. I need my toilet running. I need water going. I need to flick that light and make sure my lights come on. Nowadays, I damn sure need my internet so I can watch all my streaming shows, because nothing's on cable TV no more. So it's like, if you was given the opportunity, that you're going to be wanting this infrastructure stuff and these blue collar workers, and want to appreciate everything that they do. So don't wait till the moment's too late to start appreciating the hard work that they put in, because there's a lot of men and a lot of women out here that's busting their ass every day to make the society run, and they're just getting overlooked, and it's not fair to what they're doing for us.
Facts, bro. Facts. Well, this has been an absolute legendary stream, brother. We obviously start off speaking about the IRL streaming space and how that kind of relates to the degeneracy the world is going into currently, and also how it relates to weak, emotional men, and how it's taking away from, like we say, the real people of this world who put in crazy amounts of work behind the scenes. I know a lot of those guys personally. I've known roofers, I've known tilers, I've done tiling, I've been an engineer, I've known other engineers, all that type of stuff, man. And it's tough. It's tough work. It's not easy at all. And this, in comparison, is, yes, it's still work, especially if you really want to make it in this kind of game. But it's got nothing in comparison. Nothing, bro.